Hi, another video for today. I had uploaded one earlier this morning, and I can't remember what time it is, but it's certainly probably closer to the it's got to be the afternoon. Excuse my hair, but I just got back from a therapy session, and this came to mind as I was driving home. I'm giving up my eating a treat. I'm staving off eating a treat until after I make this video. So recognize the sacrifice I'm making. Okay, small sacrifice, but I wanted to say shortly and kind of discreetly, you don't know what other people are going through, and I have to remember that myself. I'm thinking about the long situation that I've been going through, and other people, and they may be going through. I know somebody told me this, cautioned me this, cautioned me about this. Blah 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 blah. I speak normally when I'm not on the phone. It's part of that Toastmaster training that I should rejuvenate within myself. See, I'm speaking better now. Some people that know me well have advised and have cautioned me to, this is really annoying, have cautioned me that I don't know necessarily what other people are going through. And I've led a very simple life, sometimes too simple for my taste. When I was younger, and I was about around 1992 when they had the presidential campaign, I was very excited to get into politics as soon as I could. And I was studying all the 20th century presidents, well, really starting from Roosevelt, FDR onward. And incidentally, my favorite two presidents, I guess my top two presidents have been Kennedy and Truman. However, there's also FDR and Lincoln and Jefferson, so forth. So it's tough to really pick between them. Eisenhower was very good too. I admire, even though he's Republican, the parties have really changed since then. But I think Eisenhower did quite a bit for our country, both as a general and as a president. Where was I going with that? I found some liking or some wishful similarities between myself and Kennedy, in that Kennedy seemed to at least give an impression, a public impression, that he was eager to take on challenges and a jet setter and eager to go around the world. And when I talk about how much of a failure I felt sometimes, the fact that I haven't done as much as I wanted to, that's that same inkling. That's what I wanted to be known for. One of the things I wanted to be known for. That's as active, at least, as how I wanted people to see me, because I think internally that's how I see myself. And it's very sad to me. People throw around the term dysphoria or something. I'll tell you about my dysphoria. It's not gender dysphoria. It's not time dysphoria. It's whatever dysphoria. It's the dysphoria, precise dysphoria between seeing myself as a jet setter and very alert and very active and achieving high accomplishments and setting high goals and amazing people and dazzling people. Now that I'm saying this, I'm really glad that I mentioned this. It's called Introspection with Jeff for a reason. That's how I see myself, and that I have talents in drawing and creative writing and so forth. And I always liked it when people recognized that in me. And with equal strength, I'm disheartened when I can't project that, when people see me as somebody who's trying to make ends meet. Although I guess I do make ends meet. It's just that I'm not married. I haven't had a girlfriend. I haven't even kissed a girl. No sex. Living alone in an apartment. However, I managed to get my own apartment, 1 bedroom apartment. I managed to survive after my mom's death. I managed to get a car, and I drive well and safely, and I'm capable. Like, for example, when they have in these dating profiles, the woman types in looking for someone who's independent and career oriented and so forth. That always bothered me. That always made me feel uneasy, because how does she measure independent and career oriented? Because I've been career oriented, I've been mature enough, and I've been independently capable enough to live on my own. I lived with my mom up until her death because financially, I couldn't live alone, and she gave birth to me, she raised me, and in my conscience, I couldn't leave her alone. She was much older. She was, like, when she died, she was 85 and a half. And I know I'm going off on tangents, but I have no regrets about not having put her in a nursing home or done anything like that or spoken back to her at all. I don't think we ever yelled at each other at all. We never had any fight. The closest we ever came was her insistence that I do something for like maybe school related or something. Whereas I felt pained by it, and it was a nuisance, but I would go along with it. That's the closest we ever came to a fight. I swear, like, through my entire life. She was my best friend and so forth. Okay, save that for next Mother's Day. But so I have no regrets about not having put her in a nursing home. She died in her own bed, in her own comfort, and I was there. And I have one regret, that when I saw her sleeping or resting in bed, I went upstairs, and I wonder if as she was dying, sometime during the night, if she had wanted me there. But I can't change that. How do we get from there? Oh, dysphoria. Oh, independently minded. So I'm very mature, and I've talked about this Madonna movie project, and I put out a lot of the ideas I had into a memoir on Amazon. It's short, and I want to write something longer and make that available on Amazon. I don't want to make this into a selling spiel. In some sense, you know, I do want to advertise it for the sake of people knowing about it, because I like to share what I've written. And the memoir, what I call book of memoirs, it's a collection of memoirs, different topics. In there, I share things about my life that I wish people knew. And that dovetails back. That's a nice segue back to what I was talking about, where people don't know what other people are going through. I share in there about how growing up, how my mom would hear voices, and the feeling of being different from other kids, and growing up, I felt like I was the only one, and maybe I was the only one going through something even remotely close to that. And I saw the other kids in class as being comfortable. They had parents who had better income levels. They had white picket fences. They had nice cars and 2 parents. And that's what I imagined they had. And here I am, and I'm trying to, I don't want to say trying to fit in. I'm trying to be accepted. There's a difference between being accepted and fitting in. Being accepted means that they won't punch you in the face or make fun of you or put a sign on your back or something, kick me sign on your back. fitting in means that you're more deeply in with the group, the in crowd. And I didn't try to be part of the in crowd because, well, for several reasons. Partly because I really didn't, they bored me sometimes. There didn't seem to be common ground. I haven't even gotten to the main point of this video yet, but I'm working up to it. Believe me, this all connects together. So that's how the mind thinks. I ordered these things somehow instinctively in my mind. So I had a pretty nice, comfortable life outside of school. I was very active outside of school. I wish more people knew about that. So in the memoir book, I mentioned my mom hearing voices. I mentioned not being able to fit in, and the Madonna movie project. How I wrote in essentially my own self as a character, as somebody who would like to be seen for himself rather than being seen for what he's not. As very class-based society, where if you're at the bottom end of the social ladder, people may not see you or treat you with as much respect. Or primarily, what I'm concerned about is being acknowledged for what you have in terms of your thoughts and what you'd like to share and your decency and so forth. So anyway, maybe I'm wrong about this. So, all right, so the caution is other people may be going through tough things that you're not aware of. All right, so this is the main point. This is the inspiration for the video. I was driving home after the therapy session, and I was thinking about this situation I've been in. I've felt emotionally stuck within for a long time, and it hasn't fully been resolved. But in talking with a friend of mine, well, not a friend of mine, somebody I know, an acquaintance, I came across an idea, and I posted a video this morning about how in movies there's an impact character that proposes or embodies some kind of alternative resolution or some alternative means of dealing with your own problem. You as the main character, we the audience are viewing the story through the main character's eyes, and we see this impact character dealing with it differently, dealing with our personal problem differently. Should we shift course and take a leap of faith and try out the way that impact character is dealing with stuff, or should we remain steadfast and in our belief that we're on the proper path and the other person well, who cares about the impact character? I mean, the impact character would then change, but should we shift and move toward the impact character, or should we remain steadfast and keep dealing with it the way we have been? That's the big question. Where was I going with this? Oh, the role of the impact character. Yes. So in my true real life case, somebody messaged with me and provided an alternative context about the situation, and it seems more accurate, at least from what I know now. We're not omniscient, and one of the painful things I've had to deal with is not knowing what the context was because of lack of knowledge. So hopefully I'm on the right track in terms of assessing what's going on, like understanding the context in which this long thing has been going on, or at least the beginning, how it began, those unresolved questions and emotional, the fact that they haven't been resolved affected me emotionally, but but at least with this, it gives me some comfort in understanding possibly what happened, how I guess I um, uh, came on too strongly, possibly. Um, anyway, so I was thinking about Star Trek, and I was thinking on that drive home, um, I'm assuming that you have not seen Star Trek because a lot of people have not seen Star Trek. Um, I wish more people have because it's not like pointed ears and it's not aliens and nerdy subculture. So, I mean, there is a fan base, but Star Trek is true drama, and there's a resolution. There's typically a peaceful, good, healthy resolution in these episodes. Although in the early episodes of of the original series, they were very bittersweet and very dark endings. I mean, they resolved well, but at some great cost. Anyway, all right, what I'm getting at is with Star Trek, the way people interacted with each other sometimes seemed very different from the environment I was familiar with in school. I don't mean that just physically, like they're in the 23rd century and I'm in the 20th century, da 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 da. I mean, the way the characters reacted to each other, they seemed more mature, they seemed a little bit more open minded. The characters would try to come around to some peaceful resolution. That doesn't mean that there wasn't conflict. There certainly was. There certainly is a lot of conflict because Star Trek, at its heart, is an adventure TV series and movies, and there's a lot of conflict. But they're trying to. The characters are trying to get some kind of peaceful resolution, and for the most part, they're open-minded. So I grew up with that, and I don't know whether it's a chicken and the egg. I don't know whether I gravitated towards it because I inherently am like that, or whether it encouraged me. It's probably both. It's probably that I instinctively am like that, and that's the way I was with my mom, and my mom was like that too. So I just gravitated towards Star Trek. She appreciated Star Trek. In fact, she read a lot of science fiction at the time. There were magazines in the 50s. She was born in 1933, so she was already in her 20s when there was the heyday of really beginning science fiction in the late 40s and 50s, in primarily magazines like Ray Bradbury. I don't know when these people were really writing. I'll just throw out names like Ray Bradbury and other famous writers that are now remembered in history, and movies have been made out of some of the books and short stories. And Dune, I think, came out then it was originally a book before it was before it was a movie, and then a two-part miniseries on TV, and then recently a two-part movie again. Frank Herbert, I think, was the author. Anyway, she grew up on that, and she knew Star Trek well enough to be aware of it and appreciate it. And I think she would say that she was happy I got involved with it. I think she may have even said that she was glad that she didn't. All right, I don't remember her actually saying it. She would smile, and she knew it was good science fiction, and she was around at the time, so she probably watched the show. She would have been in her 30s. It's a remarkably long time. I mean, to go off on another tangent a little bit, briefly, I've thought with my knowledge of the 20th century from research, just reading in general and being interested in 20th century history, and with an intimate connection with my mom, who was born in 1933, I feel like I've lived like 100 years old, or at least I have the awareness of about a century, which is very nice. With wisdom with age comes wisdom, I believe. There's also, incidentally, another thing I put up on Amazon Kindle. On Amazon, it's for the Kindle. It's a list of principles and guidelines for a healthy life, and I want to come up with more. I have there listed there about 30 something. It's very short, and again, it's I confess it's basically like a draft or an early printing. I want to go back. I wanted to get them out, some sense, while I still could. I don't know when or if I could devote more time to fleshing out and fully writing a book. I was so eager to share what I'd been through and my stories, and other people blog about their experiences or something like that. But I'd written enough about this already. Anyway, you get the point. Please look for it under my name, Geoffrey. My last name, Linehan. And you should be able to find it in Amazon. All right, I've talked quite a bit, and now that image of that Italian ice cup. I think I got mango, about 6 of them, is coming to mind. So I'm gonna stop this video and talk to you again next time. Thanks. Bye.